Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Roses Are Reddit, the official Reddit Bachelor podcast. I am your quality host, and with me today are Queen Overthrown, Nick's Shitty Sweater, and House Robot. Say hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
So, guys, we had a very exciting week 4 this week. So let's dive right in. The first thing that we're here to talk about is Cien's one-on-one. What were your thoughts on this one-on-one?
Is it bad that sometimes the dates that happen in the beginning I kind of forget all about?
No.
I'm like, wait, what happened again?
Yeah, I get it.
She was the one we kind of thought that she was like, not to be rude, but levels above Ari.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's that thought.
My general take of Cien is that she's much better in real life than she would kind of play on the show. I mean, going to Yale and all that, I mean, she's great. In any room she walks into, she's, probably the catch of the room. But Ari, I don't think, has it for her. He can't get it up for her the way he gets it up for other people.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's the right format for her. I mean, she's fantastic, but, she's not right for Ari. And I kind of felt bad for her on this date because she has to pretend to be into this guy who's really kind of boring and just a bit of a nothing.
Yeah, that's well put.
Yeah, I
think Cien stretched herself miles above what Ari I think could ever offer her personality-wise. She blew me away. I wanted to continue listening to her speak about the way she feels and about her life, and I literally just wanted Ari to go away. I could have listened to her for a lot longer than her edit, but it was kind of painful to watch.
In my opinion. Yeah, she brought the dialogue level up a few notches, definitely. I mean, she brought the dialogue level up from The Bachelor to Jeopardy a little bit, which Ari probably wasn't prepared for.
It was. I really liked her speech about I've always watched the movies and there was no love story out there for girls like me, and I was like, what the hell?
I know. I was like, how dare you tug at her heartstrings right now?
It was really well done.
I 100% cried. I said that because it breaks my heart. But true. Obviously, I can't relate, but for the fact that that's so true and she came across so genuine when she said that, and then obviously Big Rage's response in support of her also, because I was waiting for that moment because I'd seen Big Rage's. I went back and actually really watched their date because, I kind of forgot the beginning, and to see how genuine she was when she said that, I was just like, oh my god, I want that for you too. I just don't want you to have that with Ari because you can literally do so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they make love stories with guys like Ari either, because in all the love stories I've seen, usually the male lead is alive, and I'm not convinced Ari isn't a reanimated corpse.
He's actually Snow White. We've all been fooled.
Initially, I thought, I'm going to defend Ari for, 5 seconds, and this is rare for me.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think Ari's boring. I think that Ari's humor is kind of centered around, he's very dry, and his humor is very kind of, reactionary. And when he's kind of put in this position, I think part of it's the edit. I think every lead gets this edit of just getting turned into a boring turd. But I think that Ari especially is victim to this because he's very kind of composed for the most part, and when he makes a joke, it's very, very low key, and it's almost you wouldn't have known that was a joke, and you're like, oh my god, he actually made a joke, and it's one, go.
I think Ari is the type of guy who dates kind of by shtick, and he has a persona that he more or less slips into, which is understandable if you've been dating and single for a large part of your life. So I'm sort of assuming he has been in sort of on and off out of relationships. You just kind of, I do this as well, where sort of every first date, it's just kind of you don't know if the person's going to ghost you or whatever. You just get in this habit of you got your stories, you got your things, you got your shtick. And I think Ari's shtick is being, like you said, just kind of deadpan. I think he goes for this sort of, I think what he thinks it is sort of somber and, a man who's parsimonious with his words and sort of the I don't know, slow, sexy, maybe more of a James Dean type. That
kind of aloof.
Fine. The problem is, if you're going to do that, when you open your mouth, hopefully at some point you say something insightful, and maybe it's the edit. I mean, my problem with Ari and believing him in this role is that all the other leads, I assume if they walk into a bar and them and I are talking to the same girl, that I will lose out. And I don't get that with Ari. I don't see him having the capability of captivating a room, of making people laugh with that sort of, he does. If race car driver doesn't get him 90% of the way there, I haven't seen anything from his personality.
That's fair.
He's not even a race car driver anymore, but anyways.
I think, and I'll talk about this with Bekah's date, I think that he's also very bad at he's very bad at communicating. At least I think that like, if anything is to be derived from Ari, if my main problem with Ari is he's bad at saying what is actually on his mind. And so we'll talk about that more with Bekah's date, because I think it's more applicable. But like, when you listen to him with like Sienna's date, she was saying all this stuff, and it was like really deep and insightful, and he was just like, yeah, so like, when can I kiss you? And it was like...
And there was a scene where she was talking about sort of something heavy, and he just kind of made a noise and then reached for his wine and shoveled it down his face. And I was like, yeah, Ari, that's probably safe for you if you're a little overwhelmed at this moment. Just drink more wine.
God, that's so...
Well, what's funny for me is, like, you know how... Not to compare everything to Big Race, but I love her. Like, it was her and Eric's date where they were discussing, a sensitive racial issue, and I think that everyone was kind of holding their breath with how they were going to handle it, but I think that they handled it very well. He had a moment with Cien where he could have been gentle or been led on that. There's more than just like empty sparks going off in his brain, where the edit that he's getting right now is basically he has catchphrases with a break, a mark with kind of storyline of being a deeper for marriage, ready for a deeper relationship kind of guy, after kind of having this reputation in some people's eyes as a...
So, yeah, I definitely would agree with that statement. I think that he's just someone who, I don't know, I mean, like, I can't believe I'm saying that he's better than Nick, or he's worse than Nick, but I'm definitely not getting the impression that he's standing out in any meaningful way right now. And I would hope that
it's kind of, Nick didn't try to hide his flaws. I felt this is kind of why I liked it, because in some ways I could sort of identify with him. He's immature at times. He has a sense of humor that could be brash at times. Yeah, I didn't mind him, because that's sort of how this is how people are in real life. People aren't perfect. Everybody does fucked up things in their dating life, occasionally, right? With Ari, it's just kind of like it's this persona, is this, I don't know what they're going for. It's maybe like, a 1960s James Bond type character. I feel like maybe they're going with that sort of swarthy, a little bit swashbuckling. It just isn't working for me. I just don't, it just comes off as shtick. I don't buy it. He is clearly sexual, and he clearly is, likes the girls that get his blood flowing. Like, he should have been more into Cien. If you're ready, if the marrying fight,
right.
He should be. I didn't see the type of chemistry that he has with some of the other girls.
Yeah.
So.
Watching Ari be sexual makes me uncomfortable. Like, as much as somebody who finds him attractive, watching the way he engages physically makes me very uncomfortable, because it almost seems uncomfortable for him. Like, and I feel like the only person we can get to this, obviously, was Bekah's date, but like, the only person he seems comfortable engaging physically is Bekah.
Yeah.
Weird. It's weird more for me because she's very like, and so I'm like, why is that? Because I think mentally he's exposing himself, at least for me, more and more as not being this suave, like Roma Mike said, James Bond, no. If that's the narrative that they're trying to push, they are failing miserably. He's just kind of coming across as the guy who got in his mid-20s and doesn't know what to do with himself.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So
I feel bad for him. Maybe he's overwhelmed. Maybe he doesn't. The conceit of the show is that you assemble 30-plus gorgeous people in a room, and they're all going to randomly be into this lead who they don't know ahead of time. And of course, in this case, they probably thought it was going to be decidedly not Peter. And so, I don't know. Maybe he's battling this idea that they're all just kind of being swept away with the tide, and they're saying they're into him because this is what the show does to you, and it's a sort of 300 level class on groupthink and self-delusion and self-seducing yourself into things you don't actually feel. Yeah, I don't believe that they all are as they need to be when they talk to the camera. Maybe he senses that as well, and it's just kind of playing on him. I'm trying to be charitable here.
Yeah, that's fair.
I did not like him on dancing at all.
Yeah, it was. I think that in both dates he came off poorly, but for different reasons.
Yeah, but this was his chance to finally say something and kind of get maybe a little bit more deep or say something more than he said in any other date, and he just didn't.
Yeah, he kind of.
And there was so much opportunity there.
Yeah, he definitely missed the
Or
opportunity.
it was intimidating. I get that too.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was intimidating. Cian's obviously not just intellectual, accomplished, but she's stunning. And that Ari, in the type of circles he's been known to run in, being a quote-unquote race car driver, athlete, whatever you want to call it, that he's running into girls like her. Knowing what to do and just kind of going back to his shtick or his script.
And somebody pointed out, Cian made an allusion to being a black girl, and I think you see the difference between how he handled it and how we saw Nick handle it, where when Nick was with Rachel, and he made, he smashed the ice with a sledgehammer by saying, "Yes, I've noticed you're black." And it was funny. It went over well. And,
right.
You have to have a little bit of balls maybe to take that route. I can't remember exactly what Ari said sort of after Cian said the line about girls who look like her. I think it was just more of his sort of the pseudo, Deepak Chopra word salad thing, where it's like, okay, you didn't really do anything, but you didn't say anything really stupid, so we'll consider it a draw, and that's probably a win in this case.
I think that this kind of ties into the meta narrative of the season, which is this is going to be super fucking boring. But after all of the garbage that we've went through with Bachelor in Paradise and the sexual assault scandals, we want someone boring. We want someone who's not going to stand out and do anything egregiously stupid. We want someone who's going to stand at the altar or who's going to stand in some random place at the end of the season, pick a girl and go home and be happy.
Yeah.
And I think that Ari...
Yeah, but then again, we sign up for this. We don't exactly want someone who's, super... Well, no, that's actually not true. I take it back. He's boring. Let's leave it at that.
He's boring. I think that...
I'm not saying that he is like that in normal life, but definitely it comes up on a show pretty boring.
I think it's okay that he's a little boring. I think that's the take-home message that I got from this. That, he's not gonna blow anyone away, but I think that ABC's message with this season is we're going back to our roots. And this guy's from 5 years ago. He's from, a different time in the show. We're bringing the show back to that because it's easier, it's safer. We don't want to, freak anyone out. We don't want to cause any drama. This is not the time to be causing drama. And I think that that's by and large successful. I think that it makes the show more boring, but I think it's successful in what it's trying to do.
I just want another Caitlyn. I feel like she was such a fun Bachelorette, and I want that in a guy version. And another girl version.
The Bachelorettes get a lot of personality, and the Bachelors get none. And it kind of sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think, with Caitlyn, too, she just, was not... She didn't care about her edit. I felt like she took it seriously, but she didn't take herself seriously or the process. She understood that there was going to be some ridiculousness involved, and I think that's why she ended up finding a partner that worked for her.
Yeah.
because she looked for somebody she could see outside of the franchise. And I think Rachel did as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rachel was nice and all. We're not going to get into gripes with everybody, I feel like, but
I think
she was also very, like, I feel like she's a very poised, put-together person. So sometimes that's not always...
Yeah, I think that the men in the show, the quality of people, have definitely gone downhill. And I think someone said, I think Bachelorette fan, she said in the sub the other day, or earlier today, that the reason this is because any guy who's worth his salt and who deserves to be the lead wouldn't be caught dead on the show at all. And
yeah, and there's also, there's the risk of, every time you open your mouth, and I will say sort of, especially as a guy, if you're at all not a zero, if you try to go one way or another, you are going to alienate people. If you're a really, jockey guy or whatever, there's only a certain amount of girls that are going to be into that. And this might be part of it, which is, if this guy has any personality, if you push him towards being this archetype of person, that's going to sort of alienate people. And maybe we should cast the male lead as the male lead in sort of all teen romance novels, where a lot of them are they're just kind of zeros, and the idea is that the reader can project what they want into the person. Maybe that's a theory, because when it comes to someone like JoJo, I have no problem believing that a room of 30 men would want to date her. And even if I think she's wishy-washy at times, or speaks in platitudes, or has a juvenile understanding of human relationships, it doesn't take away from the fact that she, physically, just from a visual standpoint, it doesn't faze me. Anything short of her denying the Holocaust in a room full of my family would still make me want to date her.
my theory is this, right? Like, if you're a guy, going on the show is a lose-lose for you, right? Like, there's no upside to going on the show. Because for women, I think, at least in this point, like, you can go on the show, and even if you fail, like, you'll probably still get, like, at the very worst, I think that women who go on the show in general have, and I've done the analysis, women have much higher social media follower counts than the guys.
Right.
And so you could literally make a living off of being a social media personality if you are a woman and you go on the show. If you're a guy and you go on the show, you don't have that luxury. Like, that is not an avenue that's open to you. So you're basically kind of stuck between this rock and the hard place. Like, there's nothing for me to gain to go on the show. I'll only lose in terms of my career and in terms of, like, my public appearance. And there's a high likelihood that the show is just going to drag me through the ground or make me into the most boring human alive. Like, as a man, I have zero inclination to go on the show. And so that's, I think, why they don't get men who you would want on the show, right? Because if I'm a guy who would want to be on the show, I'd look at the show and think, well, there's zero reason for me to be there. So I would just, not. And then they get these guys who either want to hook up with the lead, or they want to become the Bachelor and hook up with 30 women at once. And that's, I think, why we've seen what we're seeing over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of, I can think of a lot of girls that have been on the show that are still thought of fondly after their appearances, and, certainly ones that have gone on Bachelor in Paradise have sort of screwed their legacy in Bachelor Nation. But others, they're sort of able to do this, and they're still thought of fondly. I can't really think of men from the last 2 seasons of The Bachelorette, in the social media age, that are not thought of derisively. I mean, all of JoJo's guys are just dumpster fires. I mean, there's nobody there that I'd even be at all interested in getting a beer with. And, there were some guys like Luke and then Peter from last season that they've been sort of brought down from their social media presence, I guess, and sort of dirt that's come out. And I just, you're right. I don't see the guys capitalizing on it. And I can't think of a guy that's come out the last 2 years that's really smelled like roses.
Yeah.
I disagree. I really like Eric. I think that Cross is the Bachelor because I feel like he would not be a boring Bachelor at all.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that it's rare. I don't think that it's impossible. I think that it's rare. But I like Eric.
I used to love Wells, but Wells is dead to me. Wells is canceled.
I like Josiah.
Yeah, but also, I'll point out, Eric he hasn't been on that. I think he's going to Winter Games now. So we'll see how he comes out looking after Winter Games. Because with guys, it definitely seems like the more exposure you have on franchise and on TV, and the more people go maniacally digging through your social media past, that you run more of a risk of somebody finding something and just not coming off well. I like Eric as well. I hope he comes out of Winter Games still being a good guy and not a dickbag.
Yeah.
That just instilled a fear in me that I didn't have before. I hope so too. I think I love his story, and I love his hometown story, just how really resounds with me is when people are genuine. Like, if you can be in this environment and still extract a bit of authenticity, that's rare.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm drawn to those bits of people more.
Yeah. And, he's good on TV. Eric he's good for the show. He's great on his feet. He's emotive. He's expressive and sort of jovial. He's clearly an extrovert. He's kind of the opposite of Ari in a way, where it's, Ari, everything seems measured and he's processed it 8 times before it comes out of his mouth. And Eric has the nice quality that Bekah has of just, you get the sense that they're just sort of spitting out stream of consciousness what comes to their head, and it makes for good TV.
Also, Eric had a glow up. Let's not dismiss that.
Yeah. So let's talk about Krystal and the group date, because I know we're all here. I know why we're here. We all know at the end of the day why we're here, and that's to talk about Krystal.
The tough part to figure out is how much is an act, and is this, playing for the camera versus this is how she really is. Because let me say this, if this is how she really is, then Tommy Wiseau level of self-delusion. The world she lives in is just not the world that other people live in. And because if that's who she is, she was almost having a manic episode. I don't know what she was talking about when she was doing her ITMs during that group date, and her personality changed, and it got very uncomfortable. There was a dark quality to it. It's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, I've noticed this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So we were talking about this earlier, about how her clients of hers have said that she's so great and she's so motivated. But I think putting her in this environment where she just strikes me as very competitive, and somebody had shared, I don't know if I saw it on Instagram or on the sub, but a picture of her, she's, competing as a bodybuilder. I'm familiar with those types and just kind of how obsessive they have to be fixated on Ari. She has no awareness of the fact that by millions of people, and that it's not a healthy obsession. She's kind of more looking at it as eye on the prize versus the other girls who have expressed, I want to get to know him to see if it's going to be, or at least in it for the idea of this fantasy Disney-esque love. I think for her, part of her drive and part of her obsession is this competitive side of her that we're finally seeing.
Yeah, but you can be passionate about something and not be like completely crazy in other aspects of your life. But I get what you mean. It's a good point.
If you listen to her talk, then her eventual engagement to Ari is a fait accompli. To hear hers, this is done and this is in the bag. And the ironic part is, if you could give, if there was a personality donor, somebody tragically perished, and we could transplant a non-cancerous personality into her, she would probably win it, I think. I mean, she's gorgeous. Ari was clearly into her. She has the whole Freudian Oedipus Rex appeal, clearly looking exactly like his mom, which I assume does it for him. But it's just, I think even Ari is sort of, you're getting this impending sense of doom every time she's around. I I feel bad because if she really wanted to win, all she had to do was just be a person. Don't be this megalomaniac.
I just don't see it with her. Like, I don't get why he's attracted to her. I think that her clinginess and her neediness, like, this always happens on the show. And I think that your clinginess and your neediness are directly how long you stay on the show and your level of clinginess are directly correlated to how good looking you are and how attractive you are to the lead. And I think that we're getting to the point with Ari, and the beauty of the show is that, like, in a normal relationship, this realization takes much longer, but he's quickly coming to the realization that she's not worth, like, she's not worth how crazy she's being. And
I mean, her whole manner of speaking, it has to be exhausting to be her, because her voice is clearly an affectation. And I feel like this was the week where we really saw it. There were some times where the mask seemed to drop. It's like, you know, somebody that stops talking in a British accent. You know, she stopped talking in the slut baby whisper that she thinks
Slut baby whisper.
It's kind of, you know, daunting, or just it really shook me when it's like, oh, this is how she actually talks.
nicksshittysweater, you said you had a Krystal impression for us?
Yeah, so I'm fighting like the tail end of a cold, so I'm gonna do my best. I'm like, this is perfect. I can bring my Krystal with, but basically, like when she whispers, she's like, "I just think that we just have such a great connection, and I just really want to spend more time with you."
She always whispers.
Rage. You stopped to rage. That was probably god-awful.
Why is she whispering? Why is she whispering? Like, she's in a room with nobody else but those people. Why does she need to whisper? Hey, friends. Why are you whispering? Why can't you just...
She's talking like she's in a porno.
Right.
Like, no, just stop. Just, like, you're a grown-ass woman. You're beautiful. You have all this going for you. You're so successful, you know, in the scheme of things. You provide for yourself. You have an education. You look like his mom. Like, you really could have been easily shooting for top 4 at the very least. And then you're out here like, oh, you know, I just really think we have this connection. That's your
dating expectations where if you're into the person, you know, like the first date, you know, if you're a dude, you're Ari, you like it. You're like, oh, and also it's so cool. She has this unique sort of throaty voice, I guess is how you would explain it. But then as soon as you realize the person is potentially having paranoid psychotic delusions or whatever, and you're not so into them, then it becomes super obnoxious. Then what you once loved about the person becomes, this is the thing I most despise about you. And this has to be the point where it has to start getting old, because it's becoming obvious that it's not her, it's not real, it's clear affectation.
Well, she keeps going to him and, like, seeking validation, and it's like, this has never ended well for
okay,
anybody.
but it always starts like this.
Not cute.
Yeah.
Every season, the person, not every season, but I've noticed a lot, the person that there's like the first initial kind of connection with, they get super excited and they lose their damn minds.
Yeah.
Like, they think, oh, since I was the first one, like, this is it. I'm in. And he doesn't like any of these other people. And I have to rescue him from this horrible thing that he's going through when he really just wants to be with me. That's seriously what she's thinking.
They're just so insecure. And...
Oh, there's a serum impression.
I can't handle all the bullshit.
Okay, anyways.
Like,
I just don't want to compete for his heart. Bitch, you know where you are. You're on The Bachelor. Like, if you didn't want to compete for someone's heart, this is not the arena for you, honey. And that's, when she said that, I was just like, I think it was last week she said that. I was just like,
yeah,
so delusional.
she's hilarious.
There's no way anybody else has the connection that him and I have.
Oh my god.
Yeah, my television.
I died. It was just, like, too much for me. I'm sure our neighbors like were like being like, "Why is this guy laughing so hard? Like, what the hell?" That must have been the reaction when she was talking. That was your reaction, right, QL?
What?
When she was talking, he's like, "Why is he laughing so hard?"
I mean, no, I understood. I was there. I saw.
Were you?
Well, what was sort of discomforting was there's that sort of scene after where I know people look different without their gobs of makeup on, but there was a scene sort of after the group date where I guess it was taking place in the morning, and she was, I think, in pajamas and had no makeup on, and she was talking to the camera, and I don't know if she had a rough night or what, but she was talking in her normal voice, so I didn't hear quite the same, slut baby coming out of her. And without the makeup on, I looked at the TV and I was like, is this Krystal or is this just one of the other generic blondes and I haven't been watching too closely? I legitimately did not recognize her, sort of. It was like this completely different person. The fake smiles and the bright eyes and everything with Ari, and then sort of this 1,000-mile on Colonel Kurt stare, staring directly through you, look into the camera with her real voice and just not looking, just looking like a completely different person. Just kind of like, ugh, this is quite truly and somewhat metaphorically being kind of two-faced.
Yeah. I agree with that. I personally liked how Caroline and Tia handled it. They were just like, Tia is definitely getting that no bullshit edit, which I think might kind of work against her in the long run, but I really like her for now. And I liked Caroline too. I was really sad that they went home. I feel like Tia's just losing all her friends. She had Bibiana and now Caroline. Like, Tia's like the only sassy girl left.
I like Tia too. I would just hope she might be in. I hope she doesn't go down the route of becoming sort of too caught up in the drama with her and then going on a 2-on-1. Because if you're whoever it seems like goes on the 2-on-1, it's generally not a good look for either.
Unless
too wrapped into it.
Unless you're Courtney Robertson, it's probably not going to work.
Honestly, if there is not a 2-on-1 this season where they release one girl and flies away, I'm done with this franchise because it's easily my favorite. Just leaving a girl stranded on a desert island, she looks on like, what the heck just happened?
It's the best.
This could be the first time that Krystal can do the 2-on-1 by herself. You could have both personas of Krystal doing the 2-on-1.
Oh my goodness.
And they're talking to each other. Like save Krystal talking to insane Krystal, and Ari's just watching it happen. Oh my god, I die.
It'd be like if they did like the editing to like make her look different. That'd be just so good. So,
If you're listening, this is the edit that the people want.
Give the people what they want. So there's two more things on the group date. Kendall stood out this date. I think that she kept saying, "Oh, this date's perfect for me," and it actually kind of was. Like, she was like, she pulled him away.
I love how weird she is. First of all, she's beautiful. She has this very like Disney princess-esque quality about her appearance-wise, but then she's just weird. And she's not weird in the way that I think Bekah is like pretentious weird, like Instagram, like gram-worthy type shit. I think that Kendall truly is as weird as she says that she is, and I love that about her.
Yeah, she just kind of lives in her own little world. It's great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kendall. I'm bummed that she hasn't gotten as much airtime because I assume this means she doesn't make it too much further. But she's quirky in a great way. Not I'm gonna stab you through the heart with an ice pick quirky, which is more Krystal, but just kind of eccentric. I really like her, and you're right. She's absolutely gorgeous. There's a handful of times where you're watching the show, or at least I am as a straight male, and it's sort of because so many times the girls, it just seems like definitely the cocktail parties, everyone's in sort of these flowing, classy maxi dresses or long evening gowns. And then there were some shots, like when they had one of Kendall, more of a form-fitting dress, it was just kind of like, where is this been? It's just she's absolutely stunning. I don't know why she didn't get the group rose. She would have gotten my group rose, and I wish we would see more of her taxidermy fascination.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone likes her that much. I think she's fine. She's not bad or anything, but
She's different, and I think that's appealing.
yeah, she did eat a worm.
She did eat a worm.
Yeah,
That's a solid.
that's a big plus.
Like, she was.
What was that?
I felt like that it would not, like, she could have been upside down naked, and I was like, oh, that's pretty par for the course.
I like
Yeah, I like her. We haven't seen a ton of her, so I can see why people are lukewarm on her. But I don't know, because she did have an intro package right before she got out of the
She
limo,
did.
I guess. So I don't know, man. Maybe she makes it further. She seems to have decent chemistry with Ari. She seems to be good on TV. She can talk. She's reasonably funny or normal on camera, or can narrate to the audience as far as this franchise goes. We need more of her. And who's that the other weird blonde? Jenna. Both of them I wish we got to see more of, as opposed to Krystal. But such is life. These are the choices the producers make.
Yeah. So, next up would be Bekah's one-on-one, where she tells Ari that she's feeling 22.
And that she also is 22.
Yeah, well, you can't win them all.
Right.
The way she did that, to me, it almost felt like a humble brag. Like she wanted to make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, like,
because
oh.
if you weren't going to lead with that, it would have come up earlier, beginning of like, oh, FYI, I'm 22.
Yeah.
And can you pass the salt? Like, it wasn't brought up that way, She presented it in a way to where it had to be a big deal. Ari couldn't have listened to that and been like, yeah, that's fine. I date 22-year-olds all the time. I'm gonna get more crap.
Which I think he does.
He does.
But it's fine. I'm glad you're not 17 because that's how old you look.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of like, so, you don't know how old I am, do you? I'm like, okay. Why is this being weird? But I also think that she probably brought it up that way because everyone else was making such a big deal out of it. She thought, oh no, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Where she might not have thought that before. So it made things a little weird.
It's I can't help but laugh when I'm on the couch, and they had the scene of all the girls, and a couple of them were saying, Ari wants a woman, not a girl, and it's kind of like, well, on some aspect, I'm sure he's looking for the one, and his forebrain does want somebody who can relate to him with life experiences. But his hindbrain, which probably drives at least 50% of decision making, is not exactly going to be turned off by youth and beauty. So it's kind of like I'm listening to these girls talking themselves into the fact that it's going to sink her. And I don't think she wins, but I also think that reaction to it just had to be for a lot of social norms, and knowing that he couldn't be like, yeah, I'm completely cool with that. He had to sort of kvetch about it for a while.
I think, so here's my take on this. I'm going to rant for a second because this bugged me. This whole date fucking bugged me. Alright, so this is the only date. So here's where Ari's bad communication kind of came back to bite him in the ass. So basically, I think Ari's statements that he was desperately trying to make was, Ari was trying to say something that was not entirely unreasonable. Ari's basic thesis of his entire thing was, I've changed a lot since I was your age, and I don't like those things anymore. And so it would be awesome if if the person that I dated had a similar life outlook to me. And literally all he was asking her was, is that something that you have? Like, do you share a similar life outlook to me? And her response was, you don't get to know that. And I was so pissed off. I started yelling at the TV. I was like, what the fuck? Like, who the fuck says that? It's like, I just want to know that we have the same priorities. And your response is, no, you don't get to know that. That's not something that's not how love works. And I'm like, that just describes exactly how mature you are. If you think that you don't get, if you think that the other person doesn't get to know where you are in life. And like, I know that she misinterpreted that. And I know what she was thinking was, oh, like, he's expecting a proposal and I'm not certain that I can give that. Or he's expecting some sort of emotional stability and I'm not sure I can give that. But then again, it's like, yes, you can. That is exactly something you can give. And that's how good relationships work. You communicate and you say, this is what I want. And the other person says, this is what I want. And then you both say, well, they're very similar things. Looks like we're probably compatible. Like, if you don't make that jump and if you don't make that leap and you try and play things fast and loose like it's some kind of random love story, then of course, you're definitely not ready for a relationship. And the only reason that Ari did not send her home is because she grabbed his face and just made out with him. And he was like, oh man, like, I could totally bone a 22-year-old right now. This is just like hanging with Jeff. Like, that's like the only reason that he kept her around. And it just bugs me. Like, she bugs me because she thinks that she's entitled to just live her life without considering how other people feel, which she can, but Ari should have sent her home. Like, after that speech, I think any other Bachelor would have said, later. And he kept her around because he just desperately wants to pork her. And it's just so sleazy and wrong. And it bugs me. And
okay, did anybody notice, though, that so in the beginning of the date, they're all like hot and heavy, flirty, fun, whatever. And then immediately when she tells him her age, he starts kind of talking to her like she's a kid.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. Oh no. So that's something I really noticed.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like he was like that Nate Young meme with the question mark.
Yeah, but how old could he have really thought that she was? You know what I mean?
I don't know how he could have thought she was older than 23. Like I said, I mean, she looks, if I met her out on the street, I would not think she was older than 21. I wouldn't think she'd be able to drink.
Yeah.
Really?
She looks young.
Yeah, she does look kind of young.
Oh, she's got, yeah. I completely agree with Koala that, and I'm already same age, and I'm single, and sort of have gone through some of these things, so it's sort of like, and Bekah's also completely my type. In fact, I dated a girl last year who kind of acts and physically resembles her in a way, so I'm sort of reliving these moments, having PTSD as I'm sort of watching this play out on the screen. But I think you're absolutely right. I think Ari was close to sending her home, but the hindbrain just took over the forebrain again, and it prevented him from doing what he knows was right. And I think you're absolutely right. You know, when she said, you don't get these assurances in love, you know, there's no guarantee. It's like, well, on one hand, that's exactly true, and that goes for anyone. Even if you're married, there's no guarantee that person will wake up tomorrow and decide they don't love you. But that's not really what it was about. And sort of showed her youth and inexperience of Ari can't tell you exactly what he's looking for from you. If he was able to elucidate that perfectly, he would understand himself to the point where he wouldn't need that from you, Bekah. And you sort of failed this moment. And if I were one of Ari's boys, you know, I would tell him, like, look, man, right there, that's how this ends. I understand she comes off as a sort of mystical forest pixie, and we love that about her. It's unique, and it's pretty cool, and it's certainly fun to be around, especially when she's into you. But you saw the flip side of that, the sort of capriciousness of youth, and just have the callousness with which it can change. When she told him that, she was simply saying, you don't get this, and it's my rules here. I'm the one with the sexual power that walks into the room. This is how it's going to be. And I would tell Ari, look, man, if you end up with her, if you pick her, this is going to be how it will end. She comes in like the wind, she fucks everything up, she makes some things better, the sex is probably going to be great, and she will leave like the wind and leave your life in disarray. So cut this out, be an adult, send her home, and you failed that test.
I think that's a really good way to put it, because I feel like I was thinking of stuff and I can't even think of it, because that was just a good way to put it.
You know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of Summer from 500 Days of Summer. Like, that's exact, like, and it's partly because she embodies the manic pixie dream girl to a T, and that's what summer is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it's like, she's just so self-absorbed that she can't see that her indecisiveness is negatively impacting other people. And
also, when the whole show is about going on to get engaged at the end, I understand that, like, you don't know if that's going to be the end result because she might not like him by that point either. But you could say, like, yeah, I obviously would like to be here for that end result. That's not totally unfair or unrealistic to say or do or think. And it kind of puts them in a place where they understand what they want out of the relationship. And now honestly, her saying that he doesn't get that reassurance is just her saying that she does not want that at the end.
Yeah, it basically, if you're literally all Ari is asking is to clarify, like what, are we compatible?
Yeah,
like that is literally all he's really asking, and like he phrased it very poorly, and I think that part of the reason why Bekah answered the way she did is because Ari phrased it so poorly, but also like, if you can't recognize that this is how, like, this is what Bekah's phrasing, or this is how Ari's phrasing it, then that's something that comes with experience. And that's something that comes with time. And if you can't recognize that that's the conversation that he's having and not, oh, are you ready to get married right now? Then that's what speaks to your not readiness to be married right now. And I think that Ari kind of got it, but then again, as you said, he thought with his dick, and that's going to blow up in his face.
Well, and he's probably really attracted to, so Bekah has a big advantage being 22 and sort of lack of life experience in that she gets to be completely honest when she says this stuff and when she talks about her emotions and her feelings, because they are mercurial and she doesn't know how they're going to change. She doesn't have this sense in the back of her mind around, I've been single for so much of my life, and with all these people I thought I was going to work out with, and all these failed dates, and all the times I've been sitting across the table with somebody and realized that I was not the person that they needed me to be, and I didn't have it within me to be that person. She doesn't have that angst, so she gets to be completely carefree and live in the moment, which is probably what someone like Ari is attracted to. Sien's great, but you talk to her and sort of everything's measured, and there's this this sense of I don't know if it's pain there, but it's sort of something, and it's probably really refreshing to not be dealing with that. I'm not saying she's had the greatest life ever, but she doesn't have sort of these scars that she's living with to where she can't say if other girls say, Ari, I'm so super into you, dial that back and not be able to be that carefree with their words, because they kind of know what that means in the back of their mind. They're kind of thinking, yeah, you're kind of the salt and pepper dude, you're kind of okay, but I don't really know you. Bekah gets to be completely honest and be like, yeah, I'm really having a great time, because hell, why not? For all she knows, this is how love goes, and it will be storybook after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the conversation that he tried to have with Bekah was the conversation he should have been having with Sien. And like, for me, I see the one-on-one dates, their body language, because that really, especially for men, tells me everything. The nonverbal communication tells me everything about whether they're into them or not, because men, I find more so than the Bachelorette, like, are much more primal in that sense.
And definitely, and Ari, he's Ari's tactile too, and so you just, you get the sense, like, my top be the ones that I feel he has most physical attraction to. This is what I think it's going to come down to for him. I don't think he's gone that level where the emotional attraction and all that stuff really factors in that much.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's crazy to see, like, her age, for me, really showed last night. Like, this concept of a healthy relationship and love and marriage at 22, now that I'm 30, is completely different. The passion and the fire is great, don't get me wrong, and, like, it still needs to be present, but love is not enough, and I did not know that at her age, and I feel like she doesn't either. Like, oh, we'll just figure it out. marriage works. Like, if you're gonna have a marriage that actually lasts, and you're not gonna end up divorced in 6 months, it has to be built on more than just.
He has these funny lines, or these lines that he says things that make me just want to bang my head on my coffee table, where he says, "Oh, she's so insightful, she's so mature, and she's actually a lot deeper than most every other girl I've ever dated." And it's like, stop it, Ari, stop it, stop talking yourself into this. This is not true unless you're dating from the lobotomy ward. It's she is able to speak confidently about what she thinks. I don't think she's breaking down Hegelian philosophy to you. Just stop it. Stop lying to yourself.
I think it was her confidence, but I think, because a lot of the other girls that you see, like, and I forget who in her exit talked about it, she was saying, like, I don't feel like I got to be myself in this environment. And I think that because she is so confident in that environment, that's part of why she stands out. Is that she's so sure of herself, but she's so sure of her 22-year-old self. And it's just not, and I think he is drawn to the fact that she's naive and whimsical almost. Like, he hasn't come down hard on her yet. Or she's never been faced with a situation where love wasn't enough, or where, doing your best wasn't enough. She just tells me that she lives in this magically works out, and you don't really have to do anything about it. You just kind of float through life and go hiking with your friends. But, like, realistically, can you imagine? I mean, just looking at her Instagram, like, can you imagine Ari as a 30s man looking to settle down and build a family, going out to, like, dive bars to play pool with her and her friends? Like, it's like, oh, and saying nothing about the age gap, if that's what he's saying he's looking for, that's not the environment that relationship is going to thrive in. If what he's saying, his whole package deal when he started the season is true, it's not with Bekah, but he is definitely putting the pussy on a pedestal 100%. Like, so he wants to make it work.
It is a funny image, the two of them together, because she's a young-looking 22, and in my opinion, he is an old-looking 36. I'm 36, and I think he looks significantly older than me. And I don't. It's it's obviously the hair. He's got some of that Steve Martin going on, and I don't know if it's also the persona, the dour persona he has. And a lot of it might be the fashion and these sort of weird Cosby sweaters he seems to wear. I mean, who's styling this guy? But yeah, he to show up to sort of, the dingy dive college bar with a bunch of crazy crap on the walls. There's loud music. Half the people in there are fake IDs. Ari comes walking in. They're going to cut the music because they will assume he's a narc. They'll assume he's an undercover cop.
When we talk about the rose ceremony, we need to dish on his outfit for the rose ceremony because, wow. Like, Out of Touch doesn't even begin to cover that outfit.
Honestly, I don't know who's styling him. I know the leads all get styled, and it's just who is letting this man walk out? And look, I'm a straight guy who wears t-shirt and jeans. Like, I'm out of my element on this. But there are still moments where I look at him and, like, the date where they're walking the dogs, and I'm just looking at him and I'm like, who's this wiener soccer dad? And what? There's no verisimilitude to the sense that these gorgeous women are all fawning over him. I mean, he just looks like such a dork. It's like, come on, just put him in starchy blue suits. That's it. Just whatever he's in, just make sure it's a blue suit. I don't care if he's out hiking in 90-degree weather. Don't let him wear whatever horrible ensemble that he's apparently picking out for himself.
Okay, so my little thing, there definitely is someone who styles him. I follow them. But the thing is it the outfits, or is it just like his overall look and then the outfits on top of it makes it kind of like, oh. Because I'm thinking about like the more recent bachelors of the past, and they've been like pretty well fit and together, or they've been young looking. Yeah. I mean, for the most part.
They've all had their fashion faux pas. I'm thinking of one specific person in general and his terrible sweaters.
But I mean, yeah, there hasn't been anybody.
I just don't, like, what happened at the rose ceremony? Like, does Krystal have, like, did she, like, put some Harry Potter type shit on you? Like, are you in a trance? the mirror when you realize, oh, like, this is a thing I'm going to wear. It's just like,
What did you wear?
I know, I'm like...
He's definitely more my type in terms, like, I like tall, dark, and lanky, just, like, kind of awkward, like, type physically. And I've seen guys dress his body type well, and I just don't think that's coming across. Like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to style him and he doesn't want to necessarily. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if they are styling him to become comfortable.
I don't know, but now I'm going to be watching much more intently at his clothing.
Yeah.
Because maybe that is playing into my overall thought of him and I didn't even know it.
Definitely.
Well, of course. I mean, that's basically the way he's presenting himself.
Yeah, that's how clothing works, I guess.
Speaking of fashion on the group date, everyone had the same boots and socks on, and it was really weird. Like,
yeah.
I saw somebody say it on the sub, like, party girls that were pledging, like, with their outfits.
Oh, sorority girls. Yeah, I did. That is the one outfit choice that I noticed this whole entire episode is when they were on the group date. I was like, why is everyone wearing magically the same shoes? Do they just, like, give them the shoes or something?
I didn't even pay attention to this.
Somehow that is one thing that I really noticed. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, my guess is they pack nothing but stilettos, and you can't exactly bring that out to the woods, and so they just give them all, branded booties.
I don't know. Stilettos have a nice, they can really, a nice grip to them. Really dig them into the ground there. Solid choice, if you ask me.
So, tied into this conversation, are you pro-glam or are you a glam shamer?
Oh my gosh, the end of that episode was amazing. It made me love her.
We need more of that.
I like Chelsea a lot now.
Pro-glam.
I'm pro-glam. I gotta say, Chelsea, sidestepped the villain edit and is taken over, she's done well for herself.
Yeah,
because
I completely thought she was going to be the villain.
Yeah, but I'm very happy with her. I
love
like
her.
I like her a lot.
Currently love her. Did we?
I am also but Chelsea reminded me. So I'm with one of my friends. I'm like false lashes, like full slay, let's go when we go out. And Chelsea reminded me so much of my friend when she was talking about herself out in my comments. I was like, that is definitely something one of my girlfriends would say to me. And you know what? I would own it and be like, so what?
Do you think that was a real conversation, though? Because I'm like, are you really going to go talk to her about what she said about you brushing your hair? Like, who cares?
I've heard before where, it's a poignant, and particularly about, Laguna Beach, because I've read something Lauren Conrad, and always stuck with me with these types of shows. If they had a conversation that production felt was, I wish we would have filmed that, they will have them have the conversation again.
That's why it felt forced.
If it came off a little forced, it might be an actual conversation that they had had. So like, oh shit, that's funny, we want to get that again, and made them rehab the conversation.
Oh, okay. I bet it was.
Yeah, and there's sort of a reality TV trope, it seems, where there'll always be somebody looking at the camera and they're going to say, talk crap about me. As long as they say it in my face and not behind my back. And am I the only one that listens to that? And I'm like, dude, whatever you do, if you're going to talk shit about me and spoil the well, just don't let me know. Don't tell me about it. Just do it behind my back. I don't want to have this conversation.
Oh, hell no. I gotta disagree with you on that.
Eric?
Because if you come up to me and you're like, hey, just so you know, I told that one person that I think you're a dick, then I've got to be like, okay, agree to disagree.
Yeah, well, that's
my move.
That's better, though, because you're going to find out about it anyways. And it just makes the person seem like an idiot, so
Eric's
might as well.
response was the best.
What?
Eric's response, because we were talking about Eric. I loved Eric's response when, I forget who it was who was, being a little bitch, and he was, keep my name out of your mouth! And I was
yes,
living for that. I forget who it was, but I was like, this is everything.
I think it depends on the situation. If you're talking about me to people who I'm close with, then just tell me. But if you're just saying it to random people, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't really need to know. If you don't talk to me, then that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some measure of gossip, and that felt a little contrived, that whole scene, but it was.
But I loved it. I loved it. You know what we didn't talk about?
What?
What?
So we didn't talk about the pee drinking on the date, and I have to say, why am I blanking on her name? Jacqueline. That she was going to drink pee for Ari, and you know what? I think that was really sweet.
Yeah. As a dude, like, you know, when the girl ate the worm, I'm here for it. I'm into it. When the girl was going to drink pee, I was like, okay, like, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah.
But, like, that was weird. So they pulled, like, an okey doke. They did a lol JK at the end. These group dates, I feel bad for these women because, look, you got charitably one of the less captivating leads that they've probably had in a while, let's say. And then all of these group dates are just exercises in
like,
enduring pain.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're having a good time doing this crap. Like,
I don't know when it turned into Fear Factor.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. They've gone downhill. Like the first group date was great. The demolition derby, that was reminiscent of older seasons. But recently, it's been like I remember Chris's dates. They had they did like tractor racing in LA, and I was like, that's awesome. Like more of that, please. And then like one of Nick's dates was like, okay, we're gonna go to some farm in Madison, Wisconsin, and you're gonna shovel shit. And I was like, that sounds so unlike Nick, but okay. And now they're like, oh, we're gonna like, you know, drink our own piss and eat worms. I'm like, what the fuck?
They're Bachelor slope.
But we're not. We would have sushi from Corinne.
Oh my god, yep.
One of the things that needs to die is every time they do one of these group date things, there's always the analogizing and saying, you know, like on a survival, and that group date, the guy said something around like, well, you gotta survive in the woods, and the skills you learn here will help you in your relationship. And they're just like, stop it. You just say, look, you're gorgeous women, and we're gonna fuck with you for the sake of TV. You don't have to be like, here's how it's gonna help your relationship, because it's not. Just say, you're gonna do this because fuck you. We're the television crew. This is why you're gonna do it. It's like, quit this nonsense of pretending like this is like training, like you're getting skills for marriage by drinking your own piss and eating worms.
You know what he's into.
Oh god. He's like, let me see how cool they are with pee first.
God knows what else he's into if he's making them drink their own piss. That's all I have to say.
Lord only knows.
Ari could totally be a lady in the streets sort of freak in the sheets.
Ari?
I'm definitely watching him on Bekah's one-on-one.
Yeah, until he was like, tee I'm naked in here. I was like, good lord. I thought
My god, he's such a dork.
Yeah.
But like, not like the endearing kind of dork. Anyways, let's move on to a section we call Rose of the Week. This is where we talk about one person in Bachelor Nation who did something awesome, and one person in the sub who did something awesome. So my nomination for Rose of the Week this week was Cien for absolutely just being the most amazing human possible on her one-on-one and proving once and for all that we don't deserve awesome, strong women like this on our show. Any nominations besides Cien, or are we going to just say Cien is it and we're going to move on?
My rose goes to Kendall. She ate the worm. She got some screen time. She wore a form-fitting dress and captivated my heart. So I give it to her and all of her taxidermy animals.
Slide into her DMs.
I'll say everybody who didn't spoil it for me in the threads, because I'm still unspoiled at the moment, and this is sort of how I plan on keeping it.
You know, good on you for being unspoiled.
Yeah.
And it's like a part of me jealous.
What? You trailed
I
off.
said, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I really care. So I'm jealous that you're unspoiled, and I think staying that way with what we have learned to be. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
To staying spoiler free, I'm a bit of a savant at this. I read the Game of Thrones book, A Song of Ice and Fire series, over a decade ago, and it's sort of my favorite series ever. I refuse to watch the show, and I've managed to stay spoiler free on all the stuff that goes on Game of Thrones after that. even though I'm starting to realize that George R.R. Martin has pulled the proverbial football out from under me, and he will never finish the series.
He will never.
I'm still holding out, and I do not know what happens past the books, and I'm desperately trying to keep it that way.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Living in this world.
Yeah, my nomination for the sub was the user Nakal1, because she had that meme about Ari kissing is like Trump drinking water. It's this very similar face, and I thought it was really funny.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm gonna show it to you. I had a hearty chuckle at this. It is really good. Let's see. Oh, how Ari kisses the girls. There it is.
Oh no!
It's great. I love
Both
it.
Hands.
Both hands. Oh my god.
I guess if I had to give a rose, Sian and Kendall are obviously stand out, but I'm giving my rose to Tia because she kept it super real. Like, she got with Krystal and was just like, look, basically you're being a piece of shit and you need to stop. Like, and she just was straight up upfront with her. And like, I enjoyed her moment with Ari where she was just like, look, this is getting to me. But it wasn't in a way where that came across insecure. It was more of just, in on where she is with the process. And I think it brought them closer, and that's why she got the grouping rose.
Yeah. I would agree. I think Tia played the game really well.
Everybody was trying to keep people from being spoiled on the show.
Yeah. So, Akio, do you have any nominations?
No, I agree.
You disagree?
I agree whole with everyone.
You're very agreeable.
Yeah.
So now we move on to a section called Limo Exit of the Week, which is someone in Bachelor Nation who screwed up and maybe should take a break from things for a little bit. I don't even know.
Yeah, this week has been pretty chill, I feel like.
Oh, I had one. I was perusing the Instagram. Rubby and Chase moved in together.
Oh no!
Guys.
Why is this happening? I mean,
My winner for that would probably be, I guess, James Taylor, just for that ridiculous tweet that I saw that got posted out there.
James Taylor, in case you didn't know, he has a permanent
JoJo's
spot.
guys are the worst. And by the way, I don't have any pity for her, and I don't think she got shafted because these were the men she picked that made it far. Like this, she clearly has specific taste, but everyone from that season is just such douche mountain. Like every single one of them.
I mean, she had
Chase was normal at some. Like Robbie always gave me the creeps. I thought Chase was a normal person. I liked when she rejected him with a fancy suite. He grabbed the beers and peaced out. But then he's gone back doing. I don't know. I don't know what he thinks he is. But it's just very depressing.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that. But can we just like say what the tweet was for those of us who do not know?
It was something like. Hold on, I actually made a comment in it, so I can find
it.
Give me 1 second. Da, 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 da.
I guess I can give my limo exit while you're looking for that.
Yes,
Here you go.
please.
Yes.
Mine, and I've said this, like I thought his like drunk Snapchats were like fun, and I'm just he needs to take several seats and just like let it alone because it's so forced now. Like before, it was just kind of like and kind of giving really funny commentary. And I find this, I'm happy that he's happy with Air Highland, but obnoxious now. And I see that side of her rubbing off on him. And I added him finally, and I'm done.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or breaking up.
Good to know. Now that I'm reading the tweet,
Would you like to read it out?
I feel like it's cushioned with a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then just like in the middle, you piece together and you're like, okay. So I guess, yeah. Do you want me to read it out?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it says, this is so extra, but hashtag the Bachelor man emoji. Empire is under siege. Hashtag Ari. Damn it, I always freaking do that. Another emoji. Question mark. Nick. Question mark. SUM1, someone, I just needed to get that out there, on the inside, must be trying to tank this thing. Rome, in quotes, America, deserves better. We need Maximus. Like, how hard is it to find someone with heart and personality to ride away from Instagram fame and fight for somebody? Wait, did I read that right? Yep.
Yep.
I read it right. It just felt weird coming out of my mouth.
It
Okay.
just doesn't
Yeah, okay, so he's lamenting the last two male leads and making some sort of weird analogy to ancient Rome. And I something tells me he's not a scholar of history, and it's a very weird tweet because is this a passive aggressive way of saying I should be the lead, someone like me? Because it's like I'm sorry,
that's what.
Yeah.
The reason these people were cast is because the last two castings of men left the cupboard completely bare. I mean, there weren't very good options.
Yeah, someone actually said that in the thread. Oh, look, it's his pathetic pitch, so they consider him for the lead next time.
Yeah, I don't. It's this forced bad analogy to ancient Rome. It's like
James Taylor.
Know who you are. Stay in your lane. Like,
James
know
Taylor.
what your strong suits are. You got a weird beard. You play country music. And he's complaining about men who want to right away want to be Instagram famous and blah blah blah. And it's like, you realize you posted this on social media where you're verified, where you have an audience and try to attract people. It's like, are you just complaining about people who are better at this than you are? Which is the sense I get. It's just, it's gross.
James Taylor has occupied a permanent spot in our limo exit section because he just always says something stupid. I think that was voted in during Ashley Spivey's appearance on the on the podcast. It's just like James Taylor is always there. So congratulations, James. You managed to stand out again.
You're deplorable, James.
So now we're gonna do a little segment where we get to know the people, the guests on the show. We do a little contestant question. So this one is describe a time when you stopped competing in something.
What?
When you stopped competing in something.
Oh boy.
This could be taken different ways.
So I'll go. I used to play a lot of sports because even though I was super not athletic, I liked playing sports because I was super competitive. But it got to the point where, like, I think in like most sports, I would turn into this super competitive, jaded, bitter asshole. And, like, I'd be really mean to people who were supposed to be my friends. And, like, I'd end up overreacting and throwing tantrums when I didn't perform how I expected to perform. And eventually I was just like, you know what? Like, this is not good. Like, I am happy to play sports, but in a recreational sense where, like, it's just, like, pick up basketball or, like, pick up ultimate. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't want to compete because I like not being a stressed out crazy person.
Yeah, just there to have fun.
Yeah. So I think that's like in general, like all of the times I've played sports, I've ended up just quitting because I have shown that like when it comes to competitive sports, I'm incapable of like taking a step back and like not throwing everything into it and being a crazy person.
I have an interesting one. I feel like everyone's going to be like, okay, that's stupid and not get it. But I feel like you can apply this to other things. So in one part of my career, it has to do with makeup. And I think a big part in that community and hair and makeup and all that kind of stuff is competition. Because it's always like, I'm better. I deserve to be doing this, not you. Yeah. Or like, my art is better than your art. And that's one thing I've decided to stop competing in, because I think with art, it's more about, I mean, there are going to be people who agree with you and like what you're doing, and there are going to be people who don't, and it's all about perspective and preference. And I don't know, once you stop competing, you can kind of learn from other people, and yeah. I like that. I think that's beautiful. Just
very,
kidding.
Very well said.
Okay.
So our guests...
Yeah. But wait, I'll never stop making fun of sparkly eyeshadow on The Bachelor. Okay, thank you. Not that I don't.
Yes, I'll go. Similar, well...
Do it. We're here for you.
We'll hold your hands. You can do it.
So you can try and remember how to spell it.
This is a safe space.
No, that would be a bad one. I guess.
It's okay.
I guess similar to Koala, I played softball, and I was not the crazy person, but I eventually just stopped going out because everybody else was crazy, and I even played co-ed kickball sort of when I moved, just thinking it's kickball. This can't get the competitive juices flowing. Like, you just do these things so you can meet new people and get a beer with someone after the game. And it's every time, every season, like every team almost gets in a fight. And it's always the same thing. It's oftentimes it's the girls on the teams that start sniping at each other.
Wait, really?
Which is fine. But then, like, somebody's boyfriend needs to jump in, and then the dudes have to get in and, like, bow up and...
Ooh, that's awkward.
Stand up for the girls. And, of course, their dudes aren't going to yell at the other girls on the other team. They're going to find whatever the closest dude is wearing the other jersey and just, like, start going after him. So I essentially stopped playing co-ed sports. It's like, this is just not...
What the hell?
These are not my people. I don't care about this. I'm here for the beer.
Where did you play sports? That's crazy, adults. Well, I don't know. I believe it, though.
Co-ed softball in Santa Monica is serious business.
That's where it's at? That's where it's at?
Business.
I get it. I've done co-ed sports, and, like, some of the... like captains and stuff get really into it, and I'm like, you realize that none of this matters? Like, we're literally all just here to exercise and like have some fun together. I don't know, it drives me crazy.
Well, yeah, and it's so many times. It's like, and there are times that, you know, if I was dating a girl that was playing, and it's just like you see people that just have to have the last word, that just can't walk away, and they just keep escalating the situation. And I'm like, look, I'm 5'10", like, I'm not, and I have no martial arts training. I really don't feel like getting into fisticuffs with half the team over there. Can we just not, like, just swallow it, you know? Can we just walk away? Can we just all learn to walk away, people?
Apparently not.
Nope.
Yes, I've been done.
So what about you?
What about you, Nick? What about you, Nick Shitty Sweater?
Queen said that this could be about anything, and I've always competed in like singular. So like I used to powerlift. I was a bowler at one point. But for me, the time that I quit competing was over a guy. I was on and off with my high school sweetheart, pretty close to 11 years, and I had a serious relationship in the middle of that, but realization that I was always going to come second, and I learned to love myself and realized that there was somebody out there one day who was going to put me first, and competing when basically like just the Nick Vile story of like always coming second and how shitty that feels. And finally, after a decade of it, I was like, you know what? And I'm not going to put up with this anymore. And the only reason it's happening to me is because I'm letting it happen. So that is the time I quit competing. And you know what? He lives at home and isn't really doing much with his life. And this was a couple of years ago, and I made a very good choice. So.
Yay, good job. Also very funny given the context of this show, but yes, that is good.
Happy ending for everybody.
Listen, in regards to the makeup thing as well, like, I think I was a makeup artist for about 6 years, and when it stopped being fun and it got really vicious, and I totally saw your point, like, about just, it's not fun anymore, and it starts to feel more like about the competition than about art and what have you, so.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone. Yes. Thank you.
All right. That was deep. I feel like I know you all more.
That was one of the deeper ones we've done. That was very sweet. Sweet moment.
It was very, very rewarding.
Yeah, maybe if people actually watch this, say in the comments the time that you stopped competing.
Yeah. Good. Ooh, good.
Yeah. Let us know. Let us bond.
User engagement. That's really good. I like that. We should do that more often.
All of our listeners.
Let's get deeper than Ari and CMC.
Yes.
Tall order there. All right. So I had a lot of fun. Yes. Next week we will probably talk about more stuff. Maybe we'll dive into the spoilers. I don't know. We have to figure that out.
Yeah, that might be a hard one.
Yeah, I don't know how we'll do that. But rest assured there will be awesome content next week with awesome guests who we have to figure out. So for House Robot, Nick's Shitty Sweater, and Queen Overthrown, I'm your quality host saying please subscribe, please follow us on Instagram at Bachelor Reddit and on Twitter at Reddit Bachelor, and have a great night.
Bye.